check this out, okay? This is pretty crazy. Now, they talk about, are we in a lost decade or something like that, right? And this is pretty telling. This is a 5-year chart of how the stock market's done over the past 5 years. Now, what's very interesting is when the Dow was at the lows earlier in the year, right? The Dow was only up 13%. So basically meaning, if the Dow was to go back there, which I think is a little bit of a longer shot, but it's definitely a possibility, okay? If it was to happen and it goes back there, that means in the 5 years, we'd only be up 13% on the Dow. That's absolutely horrible. And that does kind of put you into almost this lost decade situation, right? But the thing I'll say about this is what has happened here. Obviously, Rona screwed up the whole stock market, screwed up everything, right? They decided to shut down the worldwide economy. It screwed up everything. The Fed obviously did what the Fed did. States and local governments, your politicians that you guys vote for, they decided to spend like insanity, okay, on both sides of the party. Don't act like it's just one, it's both sides, okay? They spent like crazy. And guess what we got? We got hyperinflation while supply chains were a problem. Because we know if you give Americans a bunch of money, we know what Americans are going to do with that money. They're going to spend it like crazy out there, man. And that's exactly what we saw play out. And now we're having to feel the ramifications of that. Now we got a Fed that's the most aggressive Fed pretty much in the history of the Federal Reserve in terms of how fast they've been raising rates. It's never happened this fast. This is worse than the Paul Volcker era. Okay, if you look at the rate of increase in the Volcker era versus this is way higher. We're in the thousands of percent on terms of how fast they've been increasing rates on a percentage basis. Volcker looked like child's play. They act like this is so funny. People act like Powell is not raising as aggressive as Volcker. It's extremely more aggressive on a percentage basis. When you are used to 0% rates and you raise to Fed funds rate of 5% or whatever, I'm telling you, that's way more extreme than if you go from you got Fed funds at 10%, you go to 20%, okay? It's an extreme difference in that. And so the fact is we got the most aggressive Fed because of what happened there, right? It screwed everything up. It screwed up companies' earnings. Company earnings tanked. Then they skyrocketed. Now they're, some of them have tanked recently. This whole thing, if that didn't happen, we could have been probably on a more normal trajectory, but because of this thing here, it messed up a lot of stuff, right? And now we're having to deal with the ramifications of that, right?